Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump cleaned house. And he should have done this from day one, but he did this after he was forced to. They tried to impeach him based on nonsense. They didn't even have a criminal allegation. They just impeached him on nonsense. The articles of impeachment had nothing to do with the 30-plus indictments and the Trump Jr. meeting and even obstruction of justice. Gee, I wonder why. I thought that Trump there was endless corruption. I thought there's endless, bottomless corruption. Bottomless, endless, all-you-can-eat corruption. It never ends. It never ends, the corruption. And yet, the articles of impeachment were, he prevented Congress and he's misusing his authority as president. These are all subjective issues. You spent 3 years using a dossier and Comey's memos and all this nonsense. So, what happened? Trump just cleaned house, especially from the National Security Council. 70 people that President Obama had hired, now all gone. Now, this is really wresting control of the government from the Democratic Party. But here in the National Security Council, whitehouse.gov/NSC/ National Security Council. Gee, what's the National Security Council? Is Trump acting like an authoritarian by removing people who obviously have contempt for him? Do you think Steve Jobs would remove people, perhaps, who, I don't know, were working for Microsoft when he was paying them? You think that Bill Gates would allow Apple employees to work for him? The National Security Council, NSC, is the president's principal forum for considering national security and foreign policy matters with his senior national security advisors and cabinet members. Since its inception under President Truman, the Council's function has been to advise and assist the President on national security and foreign policies. The Council also serves as the President's principal arm for coordinating these policies among various government agencies. Now, please tell me again how Trump is supposed to allow people who tried to remove him. He's supposed to allow people who tried to remove him from office? Is that how it works? He's supposed to allow these people who serve at the pleasure of the president? They're supposed to be working for the president. The President of the United States of America is Trump. The President of the United States of America is President Trump, Donald Trump. The National Security Council works for the president since its inception under President Truman. Democrats have no right to question any hiring or firing or whatever. If it falls under the executive branch, which the White House does, and so does the FBI, by the way, and so does the wonderful intelligence community that Democrats worship every day. If it falls under the executive branch, guess who runs the executive branch? The president. The NSC is chaired by the president right here. Hello. The NSC is chaired by the president. The National Security Council is chaired by the president. Its regular attendees, both statutory and non-statutory, are the vice president, the secretary of state, the secretary of the treasury, the secretary of defense, and the assistant to the president for national security affairs. If you're using this to go to bed because you have insomnia, believe me, you will fall asleep in the next minute or so. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is the statutory military advisor to the council, and the director of national intelligence is the intelligence advisor. The chief of staff to the president, counsel to the president, and the assistant to the president for economic policy are invited to attend any NSC meeting. The Attorney General and the Director of the Office of Management and Budget are invited to attend meetings pertaining to their responsibilities. The head of other executive departments and agencies, as well as other senior officials, are invited to attend meetings of the NSC when appropriate. Well, this is very delightful. I've learned so much. Wow. This is amazing. What have we learned today, ladies and gentlemen? We learned that President Trump can let anyone go he wants. Yeah, that's right, because they all work for him. Too bad, Democrats, you lost again. You lost with impeachment, you lost the election, you lost cheating Bernie, you will cheat Bernie tomorrow in New Hampshire, and you lost with the National Security Council. The National Security Council was established by the National Security Act of 1947, amended by the National Security Act Amendment of 1949 as part of a reorganization plan. The council was placed in the executive office of the president. Too bad for you. The president runs. So I just, want to understand this. When Steve Jobs was running Apple, did he allow people to, did he allow Microsoft employees? Did he allow Microsoft employees to work for him? No. So, Bill Gates, you would not, President Obama forced out General Stanley McChrystal. So I'm going to read you this Washington Examiner article. Bigger than Vindman, Trump scrubs 70 Obama holdovers from National Security Council. President Trump is making good on his promise to drain the swamp and cut Obama-era holdovers from his staffs, especially the critical and recently controversial National Security Council. Officials confirmed that Trump and National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien have cut 70 positions inherited from former President Obama, who fattened the staff to 200. Many were loaners from other agencies and have been sent back. Others left government work. The NSC, which is the president's personal staff, was rocked when a person who blew the whistle leveled charges that led to Trump's impeachment. And he puts Lieutenant Colonel in quotations about Vindman, Donald Trump. Donald J. Trump, CNN, MSDNC. He calls it MSDNC. I love it. Oh, I love it. Bernie, can you hear me? Bernie Sanders. You better not get cheated tomorrow, Bernie. Because if you do, you have to go full Trump. Full Trump. If you go full Trump, if you went full Trump, Bernie Sanders, they wouldn't have cheated you. Maybe you want to be cheated. But you need to call MSDNC. You need to call them MSDNC. Keep talking about Lieutenant Colonel Vindman as though I should think only how wonderful he was. Actually, I don't know him, never spoke to him or met him. I don't believe, but he was very insubordinate. Reported context of my perfect calls. Yes. Reported contents of my perfect calls incorrectly. Trump is funnier than most comedians. I swear to God, Trump is funnier than most comedians. Irene Austin. H.A., have you heard that Strzok and McCabe are getting... Irene, I have not. Irene, thank you so very much. I have not. If you heard that from any, well, there's incriminating text messages between Strzok, Page, and IG revealed in report, in the IG report. But no, don't believe anything that has to do with a letter. I have been on record as saying that this is an enormous scam. So if it's LMNOP or whatever, please, Irene, don't believe anything you hear, because the whole thing is nonsense. But Irene Austin, thank you. No one's getting... Look, I've never said people are going to get arrested. I said indicted. That's different. If or when Clinton ever gets indicted, she won't be arrested, because there's different rules for people, like for Clinton and anyone else. So, Irene, there's different rules for Trump, and there's different rules for Democrats. Democrats, they get indicted, they ain't getting arrested. So, but Irene Austin, thank you so very, very, very much. And Strzok and McCabe will get indicted eventually. Strzok, I believe, too. Irene Austin, thank you. Thank you, Irene. Thank you so very much. Never believe any of the nonsense from message boards. But thank you, Irene, for watching. And yeah, I do think that Strzok, Irene, I think that McCabe will get indicted eventually. I should think how wonderful. Actually, I don't know him or met him, but he was very insubordinate, reported contents of my perfect calls incorrectly. Bernie, listen to me, Bernie. You should have done this. If you had done this, they wouldn't have cheated you. But you didn't do this, so there you go. Was given a horrendous report by his superior. The man he reported to publicly stated that Vindman had problems with judgment, adhering to the chain of command, and leaking information. In other words, out. Oh, my God. Last week, one key official testified against Trump at a hearing on the Ukraine affair. I love it. They have to name it as if it's like so important, the Ukraine affair. Now, like they realize Biden. What did I say? Okay, Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. I spent 10 minutes. I haven't said it. Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. Angela Goodwin. Bernie won't go Trump. He is paid to be cheated. Thank God the socialists are so greedy. Otherwise, we would be in trouble. That's kind of true. Irene Austin. Thank you, Irene. Angela Goodwin. Thank you. Great informer, Bernie Sanders. Thank you, great informer. Okay, so last week, one key official testified against Trump at a House hearing on the Ukraine affair that led to impeachment was sent packing. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman returned to the Pentagon. His twin brother, Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, was also given the boot. Trump had expressed displeasure that Alexander Vindman had testified against him when the Ukraine specialist said he did not like the phone conversation between the president and newly elected president of Ukraine. Who cares? I never understood why Democrats believed it would be advantageous to them or beneficial to them. I never understood why Democrats felt that if they got enough people to say that Trump did something without any evidence, so they just got a lot of people to say, well, Trump did it, and Trump was corrupt, and Trump was trying to go after, Biden, don't you know? It's like Biden is done. His campaign, I explained today, everyone here should please share. Please share my segment from this morning, my live stream from this morning. Every delegate is going to Clinton. Every Biden delegate. Do you want to know why? The reason, ladies and gentlemen, is because these are pledged delegates, and they've pledged to nobody. They are pledged delegates. They are pledged delegates that are not bound to anyone. Okay, I'll read you the actual, if you go in the description section of my YouTube segments, I quote from a 538 article. This is quote, Democratic delegates are pledged to certain candidates based on the results of primaries, but however, although They are not actually legally bound to vote for them even on the first ballot. I will repeat that again. But they are not actually legally bound to vote for them even on the first ballot. I'm going to repeat this. Democratic delegates are pledged to certain candidates based on the results of primaries. But they are not actually legally bound to vote for them. Again, they are not actually legally bound to vote for them. In theory, this means Democratic delegates could subvert the will of the voters and deny a candidate who had won the majority of pledged delegates the nomination. Wow! What did little old me say for the past 3 years? I said not only would they cheat Bernie Sanders, I said Hillary Clinton was going to become the nominee. I love how there's this belief. I was actually listening to some people today. I was getting coffee, and I was listening to some people at a coffee shop, and they were talking about a great informer. Thank you, great informer. I was listening to some people, and they were really talking. They're like, well, Biden could get the most delegates because they think that he's the most electable, But the interesting thing is, and I was just listening in, and I was like, the interesting thing is that, these pledged delegates, these pledged delegates aren't, they can actually, at the end of the day, vote for whoever they want. So everybody knows this, and I have no clue why people don't understand that Clinton is running, or whatever. I never said before or after Super Tuesday or on Super Tuesday. I don't care when. It could be the day of the convention. It could be the day of the convention. It could be the day of the convention, before the convention, whatever. It doesn't matter. The whole thing's nonsense anyway. I don't look at Rocky 3 and say, gosh, I hope that Rocky beats Drago. Gosh, if Rocky needs to, what he needs to do? He needs to run in the snow with a log on his shoulders. That's the thing. I honestly, let's talk about the Rocky versus Drago fight. Yeah. Gee, who do you think's gonna win? Why don't you put on the DVD or the VHS, and then you'll see who wins? Because the whole thing, it's a movie. They're not really fighting, okay? Just like when you watch, Jean-Claude Van Damme film or whatever, they're not really fighting. Was it Rocky 3? Let's see. Yeah, no, wait. Was it Rocky 3 or Rocky 2? Where's Drago? Oh, Rocky 4. Rocky 4. Okay. Rocky 4. Captain Ivan Drago. Okay. They're not really... It's a movie. Why am I going to sit there and... debate, gee, who do you think's going to win? I think if Rocky does this, he'll win the fight. It's a movie. This whole thing, if you watched Rocky 4, it's more realistic. It's more rooted in reality than the Democratic primary. The whole thing is not only rigged, it is completely contrived, fabricated. It is not, they don't even care about getting a nominee. They care about justifying Clinton eventually becoming the nominee. The last time the Democratic primary was fair was when President Obama won. That was the last time it was fair. That was the last time it was fair, because it is the natural law of the universe. If you have Madam Secretary and you have somebody else, you will pick the other person. This is part of human nature. Carl Jung talked about this. It's part of our subconscious. And has nothing to do, because Tulsi Gabbard is great. Jill Stein is great. If you like that value system, those value systems, but at least they fight. They have far more integrity than Madam Secretary. Angela Goodwin. Democrats prove middle school and dotage are similar. One start to gain concepts, the other lose it with Angela Goodwin. Democrats, yeah, they're all over the place. Thank you, Angela. And it's just, this whole thing is complete and utter nonsense. And if Bernie gets cheated again tomorrow, it is going to be pandemonium. Pandemonium! Bucolic Buffalo! Because he's the one that's saying, just grab the Trumpty Trump. Yep. Trump has the different lyrics for that one regarding the grabbing issue. But yeah, Bucolic Buffalo. The Humpty Dance. Bucolic Buffalo, thank you. Great and informer, the days of the Blue Dog Democrats are done. I think that they're actually in the future. The Blue Dog Democrats will probably be what Democrats are forced to go to once Trump wins again. Bucolic Buffalo. Thank you, Angela Goodwin. Thank you. But here you have, so Bernie Sanders should win. He should win easily. But now you get all of these, so wait, let's see. You get all of these. You get all of these polls showing, but you know what? Hold on. The crowds in New Hampshire, apparently Mayor Pete holds largest Democratic rally in New Hampshire this season election. So big crowds welcome Mayor Pete. So, I mean, on the ground, and then you get 30% of the people who are undecided, or they vote. See, this is the whole thing. There's always some kind of wrinkle. There's always some kind of wrinkle. There's always some kind of wrinkle. Yeah, Bernie's up by 10. But, gosh, 30% of the people, they don't know what they're doing until that day. What? Gosh, yeah. Well, isn't Bernie up by 10? Well, yeah, but see, you don't understand. This is very complicated. Very, very, it's all meant to pick the best Democratic candidate. And what happens is, you see, whoever gets the most votes in New Hampshire, you have to divide that and then multiply that and take the quotient and then stick it up someone's division by 2, and then there's an app that they're using, and then they put it through a meat grinder, and then what they do is they make a sausage out of it, and then what they do is they weigh it, and then what they do is then they do all of these other things, and that comes out with the winner. Oh my God, these Democrats are so smart. They're really an example of democracy. And anyway, Mayor Pete wins in the end. Big Chris! Hey buddy, I do Uber. Took a couple of Trump supporters to a restaurant. I mentioned how you walked away from the cult of the left. I hope they sub. Thank you very much, Big Chris. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? People are becoming, and I think that you've seen this, Big Chris. I know I have. Bucolic Buffalo, maybe you've seen this as well. Almost 500 people. Maybe you've all seen this. People are being more forthright and honest and proud, and they're okay with the fact that they're happy that they're voting Trump. And if people want to, become unhinged, that's too bad for them. The temper tantrum for 3 years is enough. You learn in kindergarten that if you engage in a temper tantrum, you're not going to get your way. That's just like something you learn in life. Simply stomping your feet and yelling at the top of your lungs, that's not going to get you. That's not going to get you respect, and it's not going to get you, So people are actually saying, look, you know what? I'm voting Trump. I like the great economy. Thank you, Big Chris. Thank you. I appreciate the referral, and I appreciate your support. Thank you, Big Chris. Doug McMenamin. Thank you, Doug. Doug's F610. Oh, my God. Doug F610, I have to, see Trump's tweet, tough guy. I didn't, Doug F610, thank you. I have to check that out. I saw a little bit of it. But Doug F610, thank you. I have to be careful with the YouTube policies and all that. But Doug F610, thank you. Just to be safe, Doug F610, I apologize. I have to just remove the first part just because of the YouTube policies regarding certain words. But Doug F610, thank you. YouTube, if you say a certain word, it might hit, you know how it goes. Doug F610, thank you. I think Bernie Sanders is going to lose tomorrow. He should win. He should win. It was standing room only for Democratic candidates and area visits. Big Salem crowd welcomes Mayor Pete. Democratic presidential hopeful Mayor Pete, against the backdrop of 3 large American flags, stood before a crowd of more than 1,250 people in Salem High Gymnasium Sunday. For the 38-year-old combat veteran and former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, it was also another opportunity to get his message out about what he hopes to bring to the White House if elected. Now, he got 1,250 people in Salem. He got 2,000 people. He got 1,800 people. You got 1,200 people in Salem. And then he got, every time, Boston Globe, every single time I hit on CBS Local Boston, it's like, the Russians. Okay, so 1,200 in Salem, 1,800 in Nashua. I think he's going to win. It's going to be pandemonium if Bernie doesn't win. Absolute pandemonium. I do not have a Twitter account. There's a person impersonating me and illegally spreading files of my books on Amazon, which is against the law. But that's not me. There's other parody accounts of me on Twitter, but I do not have a Twitter account. I also don't have a Facebook account. And I'm not going to have a Twitter or Facebook account for the rest of this election season because, oh my God, it is going to be the most unhinged. The cyber world is going to be the most unhinged, sad, pathetic place. You do not want to be on any social media. And they say YouTube is social media. YouTube isn't. I don't consider YouTube really social media. I interact with you directly through the screen, but it's not like I don't really, like I used to when I first started, would go back and forth with comments, but now very rarely do I write something. It's always positive. But I think it's going to be very, 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 very difficult on social media, especially. Now, I think Mayor Pete's going to win. I am not making any predictions. I don't care. It's going to be Hillary Clinton is the only confirmed reality. 100% Hillary Clinton's going to become nominee. And I'm the only person to say this from 2017 till now. I wrote this in the Huffington Post. I wrote this in the Times of Israel. But hold on a second. 30% New Hampshire. Don't know. Let's see. So, I forgot where I read this. But, gosh, where was it? Something like 30% of New Hampshire voters vote that day. Or, don't know until, a day before or something like that, who they're voting for in the Democratic primary. So, Joe Boxer! Thank you, Joe Boxer. Thank you. Doug F610. I think Biden eventually goes. Aside from maybe Steyer or I think that because there are a whole bunch of people. I think Andrew Yang is still there. Of the biggest people, I think that Doug F610. I think that Biden is eventually going to go after Super Tuesday, his thing, and then all his delegates go to Clinton. So, but what was it like? Most people don't vote until the day of. So. Mayor Pete is actually winning in New Hampshire in one poll. Let's see. What? How does... With 1% reporting... What? Am I reading this right? Aren't the results Tuesday? It says Amy Klobuchar, 29.6%. I think she got 8 votes. Okay, gotcha. What is this? Did they already start? Oh, I think it's like a satellite. You know the way they do. Oh, it's the satellite. It's the super secret, double secret satellite conference. Yeah. So, whatever. The whole thing's nonsense anyway. Watch Amy Klobuchar wins New Oh my God, this is really hilarious. So I'm trying to... So, let's see. Hold on one second. There's one poll that was like... where it has Mayor Pete over Bernie. So... where is that poll? It's the Suffolk County poll. Okay. Ties Bernie for the lead. This is the one. Oh no. The CBS local. My nemesis. So I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like you have them within the margin of error. You have Klobuchar at third. Who's voting for Amy Klobuchar? I don't even get this. I don't understand. I don't get it. But who cares? Hillary Clinton's going to be a nominee anyway. Who cares? I don't get it. These polls are going to be like really horrendous because Bernie was way up in Iowa. He was way up. What was the latest Iowa poll? Okay, hold on. I want to see this. It was an Iowa poll. February. So let's say January 31st. Election. Okay, so he was up big time. I just want to see this. He was up big time. So it was Bernie and Biden. So this is why the polls are hilarious. So in Iowa, Sanders had 27%. Biden has 26%. This was on January 31st. This is like a couple days before. Buttigieg had 7% in that poll. It was the NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. Oh my God. Oh my God. Just days before the first votes are counted in the Democratic primary, Senators and former Vice President Biden are tied statistically. Bernie Sanders at 27%, Joe Biden at 26%. Pete Buttigieg at 7%. Literally a day or 2 days before he won the thing. This is absolutely hilarious. Then they have questions to ask when analyzing polls. Yeah, don't even think about, don't even look at it. The whole thing's rigged anyway. This is hilarious. Oh my God, I think that Buttigieg or somebody or Klobuchar or whatever will win New Hampshire. This is hilarious. Bernie better win New Hampshire or the charade of his campaign is going to be instantly leveled by the Democratic Party. And they'll be like, he can't win. He can't win, everybody. He can't win. Well, first of all, he can't because Hillary is going to be a nominee. But they're going to pounce. Oh, my God. It's going to be like a hawk. One time I was at my uncle's house. And one time at band camp. One time I was at my uncle's house. And it was like a July 4th barbecue, whatever. And he lived in the mountains. And there was this little bunny rabbit, and it was like hopping in his backyard. I was like, oh, look at the little bunny rabbit, and look at the bunny rabbit. And then out of nowhere, this hawk came. It was like this giant hawk came with his talons and swooped the bunny rabbit out, and just picked him up and flew away with him. I was like, ah! And that's the hawk is the DNC, and the little bunny rabbit is Bernie. But see, Trump would have been that bunny, but he would have taken out a M249 or something. He would have been the bunny rabbit. It was packing heat. M60 or something. You see a little bunny rabbit, take out the Falcon. But that's the thing. I mean, these polls are hilarious. Like a day before, Bernie's up by 20 points over Mayor Pete, and he loses. So there you go. The polls are nonsense. The polls are nonsense. Bernie Sanders was up 20 points in the NBC Wall Street Journal poll. He was up 20 points. It's Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden was at 26. And he was abysmal. Warren was at 15. Oh my God, this is so hilarious. Who in their right mind, if you're a Democrat, What on earth are you on? What kind of narcotics are you taking if you think Biden is a realistic candidate at all? They don't care. Well, certainly they wouldn't want to cheat again, would they? Yeah, they don't care. Well, why would they cheat Bernie Sanders? The Bernie supporters would be upset. Yeah, they don't care. Because Bernie will say vote, and they don't want to lose friends and family. You're talking about the people on the left are maniacal. What? You're not voting? Why would you do that? He's the worst president we've ever had. Trump? Here's Trump. You're not voting? Why? Because Bernie didn't win? Oh, okay. So I guess you're a tiki Trumper. Tiki torch. Tiki torch. And then it takes 2 seconds. Do you understand? 2 seconds. The intimidation on social media alone. I always knew you were a Trumper. Why don't you just go with H.A. Badman? Why don't you go watch H.A. Badman? This is, I always do this. It'll take, Bernie's cheated tomorrow in New Hampshire, and it'll be like this. See, Bernie Sanders should have been, you cheated me. I'm going to go full Trump. Full Trump. I'm going to go full Trump. If you go full Trump, there's no turning back. Bernie, go full Trump tomorrow. If he loses to Pete Buttigieg, be like, you know what? I was going to keep my mouth shut, but apparently it's 2016 all over again. Guess what? I'm going to the White House. I'm going to take a sauna bath with Trump. And we're going to take pictures, and we're going to go, have dinner. And we're going to, I'm going to have, watch a movie. And I'm going to be part of his re-election committee. How you like me now? That's what he should do. He'll never be cheated again. You think he's going to do that? He's not going to do that. That's what he should do. Bernie, do it. To be like, But that's not the way Bernie. But, Trump's like, my perfect call. Trump's like, and then you get people, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect. You were going after Biden. Like, no one's, even Biden. Biden is like, please just end my campaign. Please. I don't want to. Believe me, Hunter Biden wants Joe Biden's campaign to end tomorrow. He's like, yeah, this isn't worth it. Like, Dad, please, just chill. You don't even want to run anyway. My perfect call. Could you imagine? If they did that to Bernie, you would give them a raise. Like, oh, thank you. You tried to impeach me. Oh, I love you. Thank you for so much. Yeah, it was so nice of you. Thank you. Very nice. Thank you. Why would I get upset? Thank you. May I have another impeachment? If they cheat Bernie Sanders tomorrow, oh my God, it'll be pandemonium. You're going to hear it's going to only be about a week of this, and then it'll be crushed. The resistance will be crushed. It'll be crushed. It would the Bernie Sanders resistance to the Democratic Party, since they don't do Bernie or bust, and since they won't campaign for Trump, and since everyone leading the movement, which is now a bowel movement, Bernie can't even endorse. He's like, I unendorse. Because, honestly, it's bigger than one person's not really, I can't. But it's going to be like the Bernie voters with, character and integrity be like, no, you know what? I'm not voting Democrat. I'm not voting Democrat, man. And then on social media, they'll even get like the marginal Bernie voters who are just going to vote for Democrats anyway. They'll be like, what? You're not going to vote for the nominee? Well, yeah, man, I think that Hillary's going to be the nominee, man. Not going to vote for that. They cheated Bernie, man. New Hampshire and Iowa. I'm tired of this. You know what? They cheat him again. I'm not voting. Why don't you just go to Home Depot and buy a whole bunch of tiki torches? Because that's what you are. Oh, man. I don't know what you're talking about, man. You're not going to vote for the Democratic nominee? You're not going to vote for the Democratic nominee? You're going to vote Trump? I'm going to tell all your friends. I'm going to call your family. I'm going to tell I'm going to get you fired for your work. I'll get you. I don't even know you, man. You don't even have a profile. You don't even have a picture of yourself. This is really weird. I'm gonna call Twitter support for them to tell me that they can't help. That's why I don't have Twitter, because it's like a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of nonsense. You know? Tomorrow's not going to be a happy place if Bernie loses. Oh my God. They're already laying the groundwork for Mayor Pete to win. Mayor Pete has 5,000 people on the crowd. No, really? He's down 10 points in the polls. Nah, don't worry about it. He was down 20 points a day before Iowa. What do you think happened with that app? Gosh, they're just so incompetent. I mean, they really wanted to count everything, but then they used an app that just coincidentally didn't work. Honey, why do you have lipstick on your collar? That's the Russians. That has to do... I purchased an app from the Democratic Party Clinton campaign officials, and because of that, I have lipstick on my collar. Oh, okay, I believe you now. They expect... It's like you have to suspend logic. You have to suspend logic. Oh, Lord. Lord have mercy. The best also, I have some really great people who watch my my uploads. It's great. So then, of course, I'll go into my spiel with Clinton winning. And then you have a couple people who are like, just go along with it. The guy has to make money. This guy. And then you're like, Clinton's not running. Like, that's like supposed to be a profound statement. Clinton's not running. Well, you know what? She also wasn't going to lose. A lot of things. There also wasn't going to be an app in Iowa, but that happened. Clinton's not running. Why would you say that? Because you don't think that she has the audacity? Try her. Go try, Madam Secretary. Go try. She wouldn't do that. Really? She wouldn't do that? She wanted to plunge the country into a new Cold War with the Steele dossier. She wouldn't run again? I don't think she cares. They won't let her. She runs the thing. It's a political machine. All those delegates, see, I kind of figured it out today. All those delegates that are all over the place, Amy Klobuchar and Biden will be like, gosh, we're running out of money. But you have all our delegates. And then the super delegates will go with Clinton. It's game over. It's game over. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm running out of steam. Thank you so very, very much, everyone. Thank you so very much, everyone. God bless. To my super chat, thank you. You have to be here for the New Hampshire Extravaganza live stream on this channel. H.A. Goodman. Be here on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Be here on this channel. You have to You have to watch the H.A. Goodman live stream after New Hampshire, especially if Bernie doesn't win. Because it will be pandemonium on social media, and I'm not on social media. But if that at that point, first of all, Hillary Clinton's going to be the nominee, the whole thing's rigged, it's a charade anyway. They don't even care. You could watch Rocky IV. That's actually more rooted in reality. There's a chance that Drago could win. There's a greater chance of Rocky losing to Drago in Rocky IV than Clinton not being nominee. But be here tomorrow night so we can, do the play-by-play of how they cheated Bernie Sanders. Give me your thoughts below. Oh, my God. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very much, everyone. God bless. See you tomorrow, especially tomorrow evening, this time, when all the votes are tabulated through the Clinton app. Give me your thoughts.